September 9th, 2025 work session for the Rutherford County School Board. We will be opening the meeting with a brief moment of silence or prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance to the United States flag. No one is required to participate or be present for any of these, and being in this portion of the meeting is completely voluntarily. I will be conducting a moment of silence, and Dr. Sullivan will be leading us in the pledge. Please bow your heads for a moment of silence. Thank you.
Please join me in the pledge to our flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First up, we need the approval of the agenda. Take time and look it over. And then we can take a look at the consent agenda. Yes, Dr. Sullivan.
I don't have anything.
Oh,
Okay.
got you.
We may have an additional use of facilities on Thursday for Walter Hill.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Ms. Darby.
Mr. Lee, can you kind of briefly walk through, oh, never mind. I'm too green. I'll get back to you.
First up, we have Rutherford Proud, but that will be Thursday.
Yes.
There are no public comments tonight. And then we will have instruction, but I believe that first part will be Thursday as well.
The first portion, Empowering Tomorrow's Citizens, a Vision for Civics Readiness, will be Thursday as well. And we'll have Lee Ramsey, our 6 through 12 social studies specialist, here to talk.
Okay. And second, we have what,
Yep.
Gillingham?
Orton Gillingham Plus and Morphology Plus training. So this is something we use every year. This is a renewal. Rutherford County Schools will contract with the Institute for Multisensory Education to continue providing Orton Gillingham and morphology training to classroom teachers, ESL teachers, special education teachers, and academic interventionists 25-26 school year. These courses are a 5-day, highly engaging, interactive, and hands-on training that will provide our educators with a deep understanding of the enhanced Orton Gillingham program. This accredited structured literacy course will equip our teachers with the knowledge, strategies, and tools necessary to effectively implement foundational literacy skills across all instruction tiers. And the dates, we are planning on 2 cohorts, one in October, November, at a cost not to exceed $89,112.50, and it's paid through Title II funds.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments, discussion? Okay, next we have legal.
We have a transfer student under Discipline 1, and so the board has their packet manila folder and received an email from Ms. Ripley last week. Board's been requested to admit a transfer student from another school system under discipline. The student was remanded for possession of illegal drugs. According to policy 6.318, the board may deny admissions of any student except those in state custody when a student transfers from another school system while under suspension or expulsion. The director of school's recommendation is to deny.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have financial matters.
So the next thing we have is our insurance rates for 2026. As we talked about at our last meeting in August, the state had a roughly 5.5% increase. The county has passed all of that on based on our conversations from the last meeting. I took the other options off, the 25, 75, 0, and 100, and this is just splitting it 50-50. And then you have the current contributions as well. John, can you go to page, what is that tab? Tab 4. Next one down. And so this shows you the rates, and just so everyone kind of has an idea, the state offers premier plans, and within each one you have Cigna and Blue Cross Blue Shield, and then with each of those you can do still like a P or an Open Access Plus, but then you can still do Blue Cross Blue Shield or Cigna, which is S or Access, and you have different rates for each one. And so you have those choices between Premier or Standard, and then you also within that have then an option to do Premier, Standard, Limited, or local CDHP or health savings account. Just looking at a couple of those, you will see for kind of what it went from last year to this year, increases of $40 to $60 on some of them, and it all really, the biggest increases are going to be in your P and your Open Access Plus. That's the one the state is asking people to pay up for, and so we are covering 50% of the increase regardless of which one they're on, because that's the one that in the past has not had Stonecrest facilities with it. And so year after year we have that discussion, so we're just doing 50% covering across the board. I would like Brian to kind of discuss finances a little bit.
Okay, I want to preface this by saying I am not for or against either one. I'm just giving you facts of what I've kind of looked at it with the budget. The first thing is I guess I need to know where, if we decide to go with the 50%, where is that $1 million additional dollars going to come from? So that's the first thing I'll need an answer from, because we currently do not have it in the budget. We did not budget for it this year. I know one of the things I think last meeting was potentially take it out of fund balance. The issue with that is our fund balance and the unassigned fund balance is, it can be, but it's not supposed to be, and the auditors frown greatly upon the use of fund balance for non-reoccurring expenditures, or for reoccurring expenditures, I'm sorry. So this would be a reoccurring expenditure. So for example, what we potentially will be approving Thursday night for us to buy the land, the $9.6 million, that's a non-reoccurring expense. That's a one-time expense. So that technically is what that particular fund reserve is for. So with that said, again, you can only use it for reoccurring for non-reoccurring expenditures. Not to say that you can't, but technically, the other issue you're dealing with is obligating fund balance for expenditures in another current year that's not approved in this year, because you will be expending that not starting in January on that calendar year, January to January. So you'll be pulling out of fund balance for the full year, which will cross into another fiscal year. So that's the other issue. And I spoke with the finance director, and he said I would strongly negate against pulling it out of fund balance, just due to the fact that if you look at the county, they just passed a 6% rate, which I think that's a big difference. A lot of people think that we're 5.5% across the whole board. It's not. It's only 5 to 5.5% aggregate. So some plans are going to be more, some plans are going to be less, depending on, which area you want to go with. If you want to go with the Premier or the local CDHP, the increase is different across the board. So I took an example. So a lot of people get that confused and say, well, that 5.5%, that's taking my full raise that I got for the COLA increase that we got. If you took just say a $52,000 salary and multiplied that by the 2.5% COLA that we got, that's about $3,000 increase to the salary. If you take the largest, looking at that chart behind Dr. Sullivan, if you take that, the highest plan is about $520, $30. If you take that, multiply that by 10, it's a little over $5,000 a year for, the higher plan, or the largest plan. If you take and multiply that by 5.6%, it's only $300. So it's a $300 increase. So you got $3,000 to your salary, but you only have a $300 increase to your insurance. So there is a difference. There's that misconception that it's taking every bit of that increase, that COLA increase, and putting it, and the insurance is going to absorb all of that, and it's not the case. So I just wanted you to be aware of that too. The other thing is just make sure you remember, we're about to take potentially if it gets approved on Thursday, $9.6 million out of fund balance. That's getting us close to the recommended level that we stay at, or that we don't want to drop below with the county whenever they try to approve, whenever we start using money out of the fund balance. Because the finance director likes to keep us around 15 to 16%. That usually keeps us about 3 months of payroll available in order to be able to spend. So our payroll runs about $30 million a month. So that keeps us about 3 months to be able to, keep people employed without, if something drastic or catastrophic happens. So those are just a few facts that I want you to consider whenever, you're voting on this. And I know that Dr. Sullivan's proposing the 50% increase. And then obviously the 25 that we looked at the other day that year, we originally were looking at was $1 million. The 50% is going to be about $2 million. So you're looking at about $1 million difference between the two. And my biggest thing is it's not budgeted for this year. And with us trying to pull, especially if we try to pull it out of fund balance, we don't know what the future, we're doing it early in the budget season, so we don't know how the rest of the year is going to look, and we don't know what our revenues are going to look like, additional revenues are going to look like coming in. Because with interest rates dropping, I know our investment income that we have relied on in the past may not be as great. And I don't foresee that and I believe Dr. Sullivan will agree with this, I don't foresee our outcome funding and our growth funding to be as great as it was in the previous years either. So it's going to be hard to figure out where I'm going to pull $2 million from. So I just want to put that out there. Something for y'all to think about and, get back with me on, and I'll be glad to discuss it in further depth if you need me to. So.
Yeah. Mr. Tidwell and Ms. Sharp, thank you.
So you're saying, was the $1 million for the 25%, was that already budgeted, or are you saying neither the $1 million or the $2 million?
Well, the $1 million, it's when we did the budget this year, we increased all the lines primarily to what we had to increase it to last year. So there's probably enough in there to be able, without having to do too much to it, to cover what we currently have, plus, that half a year of the 1 minute, or I'm just going to say it's probably going to be, if we did the 25%, it would be half of the 1 million, so it'd be 500,000. So we probably have enough in there to be able to cover the 500,000. But if we have to do a half a year of $1 million, I'm not saying it. We don't have a budget, so it's just one of those things because we didn't know exactly what the increase, the overall aggregate increase is from 1 year to the next. So we don't know how to exactly budget for it. And like I said, we can't predict what plans people are going to take from 1 year to the next either. We just have what we basically a snapshot in time of what people are on currently to go off of.
Yeah, and I understand what you're saying about fund balance, because one of the questions I had was about being a reoccurring expense. So it's just percentage upon percentage for forever. But be interesting to see what the conversation is here. Sure.
Ms. Sharp.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So our county CFO has asked us to have the 15%, but the state comptroller is 5%.
So,
what's the difference?
Yes, so for us to get our budget approved by the state, we have to have at least a 3% fund balance in there. A 3% fund balance for us would never pay even 1 month of salary. So that's the reason why he recommends us keep at least a 3-month
It's a float.
salary balance in there. So,
Thank you. So I get that. Thank you. And also, I just moved that we make it a practice next budget to go ahead and put $2 million in there.
Yeah.
Instead of, because they're always hitting us after we've set the budget in, and we just need to go ahead and start planning for that.
You're right, we don't need to get
Thank you.
flat-footed. Yes, go ahead.
So I agree that we just have to find the funding for that because we're already 8-9 million in the deficit this year. And when we talk about the financial portion, I expect our outcome funding to be pretty strong. I don't expect growth funding to be strong. I do anticipate us still getting that performance bonus, so that may help cover some of that. The thing I think that is the most that we need to take out of it is because of our private act, fund balance seems like a good option. I mean, I would agree, but when you have a reoccurring expense and you have the county finance director who does not support that, advising the budget committee to approve that, just speaking frankly, it's very unlikely that gets approved by budget or the county commission if the county finance director does not support that. Yeah, that's their performance bonus. So, but that should be December, it'll probably be January because it's all your report card, how many A letter grades that you had, as long as you had over 50% of your schools, and they don't give us our letter grades till December 18th. But it should be between 2.5 and 4.
I think Mr. Runyon had something he wanted to add to that.
I just have one more comment just with fund balance. Also, another thing is if we're trying to reach, and obviously the state mandated that we get to 50,000 for teachers by next year, most likely what that's going to look like is we'll have to budget into fund balance again. And when you reduce that fund balance, that means we're taking and lowering that fund balance even down and more as a budgeted line. So if we take $1 million from it, that reduces it by $1 million. So that means that we have less to budget in the deficit against. So just another thing to think about.
Ms. Maxwell?
Yes, Ms. Rosales.
Thank you. So the only numbers that we have here is if we absorb 50%. Last time we were given different scenarios of what it looked like if it was less or higher. Can we see those numbers? If it's, how much are we, without going into fund balance, how much are we going to absorb?
We're already in the fund balance, $8 million into the negative for the fiscal year,
Right.
so that's my concern.
Right, but this is to absorb 50%. So is that your recommendation is 50%?
It is right now, as long as our board understands we don't have any other expenditures that we can do now through June, and that's tough to go now through June without any other real unexpected just expenditures, and I think that's great. Our goal's always been to invest in our people, but we have used performance-based bonus last year. We used metal detectors. We've used them to cover insurance rates. We've used them to cover new positions, computers, and those are things we're just not going to be able to do this year.
I thought the metal detectors was used with a
Performance
grant.
bonus. It was performance bonus, the $4 million we got out of the performance bonus.
Okay. So your recommendation is
Yeah.
50%?
Yep.
Even if we go into fund balance?
We can't go into fund balance. We're going to have to figure out how to fund this ourselves by cutting things over the next 7 to 8 months.
Okay.
No frills. Any other? Yes, Mr. Vaughn.
All right, methodically walk me through this. It's a $2 million increase, right? And let's just talk in general terms. And if we paid 50% of it, I say we, the board elects to pay 50% of it, roughly a little over $1 million.
No, the actual increase to the overall amount is 3.5 million, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
The
what I was
50% will be $2 million.
It will be $2
cost
million.
us $2
So
million.
to fund it for basically 6 months till the next
So
budget
yes.
year.
Yes, which we're then going to have to budget that. Yep.
That's where we're coming up with $1 million. So, all right, next question. How many open positions do we have?
Not many, less than 20. I can get you another report by Thursday, but less than 20.
Is it, and the question is going to be, is it realistic that some of those don't get funded or don't get filled?
Very few.
I know it's tight. I'm trying to
Very
be
few.
creative.
Brian and I will make it work. We always find a way to make it work, whether we cut spending rate, but we always, I
Because
just don't.
the ending fund balance thing is not wise. It never has been. And you get away with it with capital purchases, I think, one-time deals. The second thing about that, and I think this is where you were going with it, is every year we increase the budget. So therefore, the percentage, the ended fund balance has to increase by that same percentage also to stay at that 90-day level or that 3-month level. So it ends up there. Can you bring back to us maybe Thursday night different alternative? I mean, where you would come up with it, let's just kind of be as creative as you can. because I do want to try to take care of our employees as much as we can. It's not on them. Although
Yeah.
I appreciate your illustration that it is a, 5% increase, but it's only on their insurance part. It's not a 5% increase from their entire salary. So
Well,
big difference.
I get it. I don't want my insurance to increase either. So,
No,
but it's one of those things that, for a budgeting purpose, and for us to be able to maintain, the budget for the year without
Yeah.
blowing it out of the water, it's. I'll try and be as creative as I can, but right now we have no fluff in our budget, believe it or not. Some people think we do, but we don't. So.
Right. I'm just trying to be creative and think about things that will happen and maybe something that doesn't happen. Some program we don't end up doing. Some computers we don't end up buying. Anything that was in recurring revenue or recurring budget. Shoot, I forgot the other thing I was going to say. But anyway, you'll give us some alternatives Thursday night. Thank you.
Dr. Sullivan and Ms. Sharp.
Yeah, the thing I was going to add is that this is when we talk about next year's budget, this is going ahead, this is a commitment to go ahead and cover funding for next year too. So that's where we've been the last couple of years. This is only, the $2 million is funding 6 months. And so we're also going ahead and funding July through December of next year too, because that's how insurance is going to go, January through December. And that's where we've been, is we budget for what has already been approved covering the next year, so that if we need to cover more, we have to cover more funding. So, and I'm more concerned about losing funding next year than I am finding funding. There's a lot of changes, and Ms. Sharp's been talking about from the beginning. There's a lot of changes to TISA that I don't think are going to be very friendly to districts.
Okay, thank you, sir. Yes, Ms. Sharp.
Okay, so I'm going to circle back around to the outcome and growth funding. When do we think we're going to get that money?
Outcome funding January at the earliest, because the state report card, we get a preview December 2nd through the 12th or 14th. It gets released to the public December 18th, and that performance-based is based on the number of schools you have as a letter grade. And growth or outcome funding the last couple of years we've received in November. Is that correct?
Outcome funding was November. Growth funding we received over several different months. But if you remember, this year we didn't receive our last payment until after the fiscal year was closed out, so we actually had to accrue that payment. So
Yeah, it was
over $2 million there. So
it was frustrating. We got our last growth payment in July after the year ended, which we could use throughout the year to cover things like this.
So we could, if that money would come in this
On
year,
time, yes.
we could use that versus any fund
Yep.
balance. Thank you.
Any other questions? Yes, Mr.
Yeah,
Sykes.
how much money was our growth?
Last
year.
year,
Well, yeah, last year. Was it
it
seven?
started off as like 500,000 and throughout the year grew to over 7.
yeah, it grew to a little over $7 million.
Just under 8 million.
And we see those in different chunks, the $7 million.
Yeah, because they have to do true ups throughout the year, and so as they do the true ups, the growth changes. And as we grew, they had to add additional to the growth payments.
And this was just for the student. We didn't get anything for the capital
Correct.
and the infrastructure. I'm still waiting on getting information about how much money we're going to get for the infrastructure, the portion, that $1 billion, however much money it is, and that's tied to the ESA. I got an email. No, I got a response that is still waiting in the comptroller to make decision, to decide when they can give guidance to the district, so when we can apply for it. So I don't know how much money we're getting or when we're going to apply for it, but
Less than $1.5 million would be my guess. $25 a kid at 50,000
Yeah, that's what-
students, so
you keep saying,
1.1 to 1.3.
well, that can fund an HVAC.
It can fund an eighth of an HVAC.
Huh?
An eighth of an HVAC,
Eighth of an HVAC. Well, something.
maybe.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, next we'll go to number 2.
Number 2, and I believe the board passed this last year. For some reason, it didn't make it to the county commission. So is that correct, Trey? Yes. This request is to reallocate the balance of $355,664.30 from Laverne Middle School Annex Project to Simon Springs Community School Project in the Fund 189 Building Program. The shift of funds will move money not spent Laverne Middle Project and place it in the Simon Springs Project to clean up overages and move it to close out both projects.
Okay,
Not for those 2 schools.
okay. Any comments? Okay, Next, engineering and construction.
This is the extended sessions bus contract or power hour, I believe is what we refer to it as for 25-26. Transportation has submitted the extended sessions bus contract for power hour for the 25-26 school year, and compensation is $245 per day. And then I know that we've got a couple questions. Kelly, do you know how many days we're doing power hour this year by chance? Yes. Can you find that for me? Okay.
Yes, Ms. Darby. Mr. Lee, can you just briefly walk us through the process of how that's awarded for the contractors?
Sure, I'll read it to you verbatim. Off of our power hour awarding process and application. And I think Mr. Ball came in. He attended and witnessed it firsthand the other day. Per our process, current contractors of Rutherford County Schools, contractors can have one Gen 8 route. Contractor will have two options to choose from. Option one, the bus that normally runs at that school. The bus listed on the application must be the bus to run the route. The bus that you submit must currently run a regular route at that school. Option two, the bus does not run an elementary school or a middle school. We do have some buses that just run high school or run one or the other. So we wanted to make sure they had an opportunity as well. The bus listed on the application must be the bus to run the route. You can only submit one bus for the application process. You must be able to get to the elementary school by 4:15. No applications will be accepted after the due date. The draw day is published typically 2 to 3 weeks prior to the drawing. We use a picker wheel for the drawing, which is a computer-generated wheel. One wheel for each elementary. The list will consist of each elementary school. Contractor's name will be listed under each school as they are drawn from the picker wheel. The list from the picker wheel will be used to award routes. The route placement will be assigned by the Transportation Department. Transportation will work to ensure the routes are awarded as efficiently as possible.
Is summer school awarded in the same fashion?
Ma'am?
Is summer school awarded in the same fashion?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So are all of the contractors, I guess, put back in, for lack of a better word,
We do it.
for summer school as well?
We do a fall drawing, we do a winter drawing, so that everybody has an opportunity, and then we do another drawing for the summer school.
Okay, so it is possible that someone who got a fall route can also get a spring route and can also get a summer route.
It is theoretically computer generated. Yes, it is possible.
Thank you.
It's typically fairly rare, but it can happen, yes.
One last question. The contractors that own multiple buses, are they put in per bus that they have, or is it like per business, so to speak?
It's per business.
Per business?
Yes.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
if we have husbands and wives that have, if they're under one business name, they get more.
Okay.
If they have two separate businesses and they actually are two separate entities, in theory, yes, they could both apply at the schools that they run at.
Right, but like one business that has 6 buses doesn't get 6 entries?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
We try and limit it. It's very lucrative, it's very competitive, and they all want one. So we try and make it give everyone as fair an opportunity as possible.
21 sessions in the fall, 21 in the spring, so 42 total.
Any comments, Mr. Vaughn? You attended.
I couldn't stand it. It is a lot better than the old-fashioned way of putting everybody's name in a hat and drawing. The girls that ran it, I was so impressed, and I ought to have enough sense to know that there was something out there in our modern age of computers that was, it seemed to be infallible to me. I sat back there and I started making notes about which color came up the most times and all that. And there was nothing to it. And you were talking about being competitive. One of our husband-wife teams, if I remember correctly, the wife won and the husband didn't. And there was a little bit of taunting going on the back road during that. But there was, I guess, 15, 20 drivers here, seemed like. And it was very handled very well. I'm gonna say that very well.
It's a very touchy. We want to make sure everyone has an opportunity
Yes,
equal
yes.
across the board.
I was very satisfied, and I made a commitment to myself to be as, not to meddle, but to be as involved as I can in the transportation to see what's going on. Because I know all of us probably get complaints or suggestions or whatever, and you know, the more we're educated, the more I'm educated, the more I think the better we can create policy that makes the system runs better. But I congratulate you, tell the ladies, I congratulate them. They ran it flawlessly, I thought.
Well, and that's why we do one in the fall and one in the winter, because there is 2 sessions, and that gives other people an opportunity to make extra money.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? Okay. Next, we go to corporate recognition and Ms. Darby.
This was something I brought up at one of our retreats when we talked about wanting to honor all of our local companies that have given donations to our school system. So I got with Front Street Sign, who is also a great donator to our system, and he is going to come up with some designs that I will forward to the board to look at, to put on display for some recognition for our companies that have given donations to our district.
Okay. Any comments? Okay. Thank you, Ms. Darby.
And the only thing I would add is we're working through that, I think, for us, because we absolutely love this idea. Our staff has a lot of these names as well. I think it's, James, I think you have a list of how it is.
Yes, sir.
It's a large number, which is
We've
great.
been trying to compile a list of all of these. Just the ones we have so far, these are for-profit businesses. There are 37. And then there are also a number of nonprofits and churches that have been donating to our system too. And so we're working on a campaign to do window clean. We've already talked to a number of these businesses that want to do that. That denotes them as proud supporters of the school system. But yeah, we would support this too. But we're trying to make sure we have some sort of systematic way of figuring out, because this is just at the district level. Do we want to do it for all the ones who donate to individual schools too? There's probably hundreds of those. So looking forward to working with you.
I appreciate Ms. Darby bringing this to our attention and talking with the man in Front Street Sign Company. We could not have a wonderful, strong district without our community and people who are willing to step up and help us, and we are very appreciative of that. Next, we have director's update.
I'll have more on Thursday, but tomorrow we have 3 schools and 3 music educators who are being recognized as the 2025 Music Teachers of Excellence. And so there are 30 nationwide, and we have 3 of the 30.
Wow.
And so I'll talk more about that, but it is a big night. I'll be there. We'll have, again, 3 schools, Rocky Fork Middle, Smyrna High School, and Riverdale High School are being recognized, their music educators. And so that's a big deal. It's at Scrimmel Hornet, so we're proud of it.
What night is this again?
It's tomorrow night,
Tomorrow night. Oh,
all night long.
I had no idea. That's awesome.
So, no,
That's
it's
fantastic.
great. Riverdale High School. Yep, Smyrna, Rocky Fork, and Riverdale. So 3 out of 30 nationwide is pretty impressive.
That is impressive. We have really good music. We have good sports. We have good music and fine arts here in this county as well. Next, we move to general discussion. I just want to say real quickly, I'm honored and humbled for the board's faith in me, and I promise to continue to lead with fairness, honesty, and integrity in putting our students first. I just want to say thank you. With that, Ms. Darby.
Move to adjourn.